In this video, we want to have a look at how we can edit a ditamap in Adobe Experience Manager Guides. A ditamap is a file where you can collect all the tasks and topics, etc., that belong to one specific documentation project. In Adobe Experience Manager Guides, we can access the ditamap editing functionality in two ways. We can use the XML editor, or we can use the asset management. Let's have a look at the asset management side or approach first and see how we can edit a ditamap there. So I go into the asset management, go into files, and drill down to the folder where my ditamap is located. I can see it here, Smart Security Ditamap. I can just select this one and click Edit. This brings me to the ditamap editor in the asset management view. What I see here is all the files, the topics and tasks and concepts, etc., that belong to this specific ditamap Smart Security. We can see that there's a certain structure here, like description has a child element, graphical user interface, with a child element, graphical user interface for mobile devices. This is the structure of my documentation. Let's assume that I have topics like installing on Android, installing on Windows, etc. And they are just on a different level, like this. Now I want to make them a child element of installing the application. And nothing more easy than that. I just use the move right arrow and click it and make these elements a child element of installing the application again. Note when you hover over these items here in this ditamap, you get these additional icons with these left and right arrows. You get the wheel icon where you can access the properties of a topic and see, for example, the attributes like audience, in this case, is user, and href is the actual the path to the topic that is actually linked in here. I could even add metadata like a navigation title that might appear in an output if I want to have that different from the title and the topic. I could add a link text here, a short description like 1 or 2 sentences that explain what this topic is about. This could, for example, appear in a search result. I could add keywords for metadata and search engine optimization as well. So all these possibilities are here. I can also validate the ditamap to check if my ditamap is valid. And Adobe Experience Manager Guides will automatically validate if the code that is behind my ditamap is compliant with the data standard. I can also access the map properties from here and see the metadata of my ditamap, link text again, short description. Here you see the short description, software for managing a monitoring and surveillance solution, and the author, which might be, for example, Stefan. I can also see numbers if I like this idea of having chapter numbers like 7, 7.1, 7.1.1. And even if I move topics around here, this automatically gets updated. I can also add new topics very easy. Let's assume I want to edit another topic in reference reuse user rights. So I drill down to my topic folder where all my topics are located and say managing rights of individual users. I want to add that here. And you notice that there's a small gap coming. I just release the mouse cursor and it's dropped here. Now I want to make that a child element. I again just use the move right button. And now managing rights of individual users has become a child topic of reference reuse user rights. This is one way of editing a ditamap in Adobe Experience Manager Guides from the asset management accessed. Let me close that and not save it and go back to my asset management. And back in the main navigation, I can access AM Guides again. So I go in here. We have our navigation here again, repository view with my English folder. You notice that the structure here of the folders is the same that we see in the asset management. I go into my Data Sample Content IT folder, and here I have my ditamap Smart Security. I just double tap it so that it gets opened, and I see the structure in a similar view, but slightly different to what I have seen before in the Asset Management view. I can now just tap on these three icons and select Edit. And then I get a very different view of how my data map looks like, with my keys, my tasks and concepts all linked in here. Note the yellow highlighting that shows that there are specific attributes associated with these topics. Like this one here, audience user. And I can also access the source code from here. This is the way the data map looks like on a code level basis. This is the data map XML source code. I can easily change that here if I like to work in this code view. And for example, I could add an additional platform attribute here and say this is a head-up display. If I, for example, want to publish this documentation also to a head-up display of a car, if that might be my output channel. I can also go into the outline view of that map and see a structure tree of my data map. Source root element map, then my topic metadata with a short description, copyright, critical dates like created and revised. I have my keywords here, I have a change history list with change items, etc. I have my product information with my platform attributes and the platform attribute head-up display that I had just added in the source code view. But I can, of course, also do that here and insert another platform attribute if it's valid at this position. Now, when I go to my topics, I see all these topic references here. And I can click on them and they get highlighted on the right side in the main editing view. Let's assume smoke detectors should be before camera details. Then I can just drag and drop that around here and it will change in the topic view here itself. And I can also make it a child level element. So I can easily move around all these topics and change the structure of my data map from the structure view as well. I can also see the file properties of my Smart Security data map from here, like the global ID, if there are metadata tags associated with it, if it has a language attribute, etc. If it's checked out, the document state like draft, edit, and review, approved, etc. And I can also see all the references that belong to this data map, like where it's actually used, maybe in other files, as references pointing to this data map, or outgoing links to all the topics that are associated with this data map. So that's basically the two ways we can edit a data map in Adobe Experience Manager Guides. Of course, there is a lot more functionality, but I don't want to make this video too long. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.